Hey there, y'all. Hey,
Hey.
we're back. Welcome to another episode of Real Women, Real Talk. This is the podcast where you get to have some real and honest dialogue about topics that matter to women. I am Trenace Richardson. I am the founder of Real Women, and I am joined by my sister and co host.
The counselor in training and facilitator
Hey.
of Real Women, Shavon Carter. Woo.
The counselor in training. Oh, I'm so loving this. Y'all, you got to go to the last episode if you didn't and just hear how many wonderful things are happening with my sister. Listen, we are going to tell you some wonderful things about who we are and what we do. We are Real Women Rock, and we say that because we do rock. And so until the end of the episode, where we'll give you a bit more detail, if you're interested, please visit us at realwomenrock.org. For now, we want to get right into it, and we want to talk about our Real Talk segment. It is our first segment where we just check in. First of all, we want to know how y'all are doing, and we want to tell y'all how we doing. So, sister, how you doing today? What's going on?
So I'm doing good. I got a story. It's so funny.
Oh, I love it. I love story time. Okay, go ahead.
You would be so proud of me. So the last episode, you talked about how you love this time of year and just going outside, right?
Uh-huh.
So at the time of this taping, I have been in my house almost 2 years. And I think I said on a previous episode that I had never walked around my neighborhood.
You did say
I
that.
did say that. Well, yesterday I got out, and this was the second day that I had done this, but I discovered some new stuff yesterday. So I got outside and it was a beautiful day, and I walked around like the front part of my neighborhood, and I had seen my neighbors posting pictures in our Facebook group
Mhm.
about a path that leads, like a trail and like a bridge that leads into another part of the community. And I was like, well, where is this? So my mission yesterday was to figure out where that was. And I found it. And it's a nice little trail. And when you come over, you guys see I gotta take you back
I
there.
couldn't
But
wait.
it's a nice trail, and it opens up to a whole nother community, and it's like a pond in the middle, and you can walk around the pond. And I was
Oh
like,
my
who knew? Why y'all didn't tell me? I mean, they did because they posted pictures, but I
goodness.
just had never been outside. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God, I want to go over there and walk around and get
Yes.
some exercise since it's nice.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yes, I actually got outside and walked around my neighborhood.
I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Let me tell you, this makes me so happy because by the time we get through this episode, we're gonna circle
Yeah.
back to this story because
Okay.
I love that you did not even realize, I mean, seeing it with your own eyes and
Yes.
experiencing it, walking up on it, the
Yes.
expansiveness of it, it's
Yes.
something different than having somebody tell you about it or seeing a
I'm
picture from
telling
somebody
you.
else. I,
Yes. I
yes.
felt like the song, The Whole New World, that song was playing. I was like, oh, it just opened up to a whole new world I hadn't experienced right
I
outside my
love it.
door. All
Yeah.
that beautifulness. So yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Mhm.
I'm so happy for you. And
Yeah.
now you know you have that available to you whenever you want that type of serenity. That's beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
how
well,
you doing?
I thank you for asking, child. I am doing well. I am actually loving this season. I am in love with the sun. Me and the
Yes.
sun have a romance going on. Let me tell
Uh-huh.
you, I feel like sometimes when I go out walking in the morning,
Yeah.
that I'm just a different child. So I'm walking and the sun is like hiding behind the trees and then
Yeah.
poking out and peeking out and
Uh-huh.
then it like seems to shine right on me and then hide. And I'm like, you flirting with me. What you doing? What? This sun flirting with me.
Yes. I love that. So cute.
Yeah, I am in my element. It does so much for me. It just
Mhm.
lifts everything. Everything in me is lifted because of
Mhm.
this season.
Oh, I love
which
that.
lets me know, as we talked about in the last episode, that the future chapters of my life will have much more sun
Mhm.
year round than
Yep.
I experience right now. Because why would I not want to feel like this all the time? Like,
Exactly.
duh.
Like, why not? Yeah.
So
Hello.
yeah, yeah. So yes, that's how I'm doing too.
I
We
love it.
yeah, we really want to know how y'all are doing. So please share it with us. You can share this, and I'm also going to ask another question. But anything you want to share from this episode or previous episodes, please reach out and talk to us. We have had some women emailing us. Let me
Yes.
tell you something. We've been having some
Yes.
fun with these emails. And so you can reach out and talk to us verbally at speakpipe.com/real women real talk, or you can email us at info@realwomenrock.org. Tell us how you're doing. And
Mhm.
also, we want you to answer this question. I got another question for you, sister. Um,
Okay.
it's going to connect to where we're going with our other segments as well.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have some fun this segment, or I mean,
Okay.
in this episode. All right. So I really
Okay.
want to know. You have been on planes a lot. You have
Yes.
traveled. Yes,
Yes.
have plane tickets. Will travel. So if
Mhm.
you were seated on a plane
Mhm.
beside someone who had major body odor,
Mhm.
like major, like major body odor,
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
would you do?
So this has happened to me.
Oh my.
Uh,
Okay.
yes. Recently, when I was on the way to Jamaica for my solo trip by my daggone self, I was
Wow.
sitting next to, well, thankfully nobody was in between us, but he was sitting on the end. I was by the window, and just an odor, just really bad, and so
Mm,
I had to like sit with my mouth over my nose and my mouth, or my hand over my nose and my mouth, because it was just a lot. It was
yeah,
it was a lot to deal with, and so, thankfully, the flight wasn't that long. Thankfully, I wasn't on an international flight where I will be on there for hours, like
yeah.
10, 12 hours, but it was hard to deal with, so I just try not to focus on it, and I just kept my mouth covered and my nose covered. Yeah.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
Mhm.
And it's so surprised. Like I don't know why I thought you'd have been like, so listen, can we
Yeah,
switch the seat?
I suffered through it, I did.
That was good. You have a good heart because the first thing I would do is wear a mask. I would put a mask
Yeah.
on. I bring those with me on the plane anyway, just in case
Mhm.
somebody's got the coughing fits or the
Yeah.
sneezing or whatever. It's already
Mhm.
not good ventilation up in that
Right.
airplane.
Mhm.
So that's one place I still carry my mask. So I would do that. If that did not help, and trying to do the things that you said, what I'm
Mhm.
thinking is I have to breathe. Like I have to
Yeah.
inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
And I would ask, I would not be conspicuous about it. I would make sure that I was discreet, but I
Yeah.
would ask if there was, even if it was a worse seat,
Mhm.
if it's possible for me to switch seats because it's just
Mhm.
a bit unbearable for me.
Mhm.
Because I also want to enjoy my flight. I want to
Mhm.
enjoy my trip from beginning to end. So
Yeah.
if I felt like I could not take it with the inhales that I would have
Mhm.
to do,
Mhm.
I would ask to move. I would.
Yeah. What
Mhm.
if it was a full flight?
Um, I would have to take it, I guess.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Mhm.
can't imagine. I think I would try because by full flight, sometimes first class is not full when it's a
Mhm.
full flight. Full
Mhm.
flight means everybody in the back.
Yeah.
So I might even make a little bit, pardon the pun, a little bit of a stink. Um, I might even make a little bit of a
Mm.
scene about put me up there. But if
Mhm.
there really is no seat, I mean, I can't expect somebody else to come and switch with me and sit
Right?
there. So I would have to suffer through it, I suppose, because I
Yeah.
can't see myself comfortable enough to say something to the person. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, just never know
That's
these
a
days.
tough one.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, we want to know what y'all think, what you would do if that has ever happened to you. Feel free to reach out to us. Would
Mhm.
love to hear from you at speakpipe.com.
Ooh,
I can
child.
only imagine what kind of stories y'all got to tell.
I'm telling you.
So I want to keep this theme going of talking about travel,
Mhm.
maybe having a little fun with it. This might get a little deep, but it is our deep dive, so that would be
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Um, the topic, sister, is to travel
Uh-huh.
or not to travel. That is the question. All
That
right.
is the
That
question.
is the question. And I want
Mhm,
to just frame it a little bit because I have experienced both within my family and in my circle of friends and community. I have experienced both extremes as far as
mhm,
thoughts are concerned about traveling or not traveling. And then, some somewhere in the middle.
mhm,
So some people are very leery of travel. I
mm,
mean, don't want to go anywhere
mhm,
because maybe they are. I've had the extreme of course, some people not being comfortable flying on planes at all.
mhm. Yep.
I know people who do not go over bridges, and
Yeah.
so they
Mhm,
map out to make sure even when they're driving that they don't have to cross any bridges.
mhm,
And so the dangers or the fears around the actual travel itself keeps them
mm,
from it. But then for
mhm.
some people on that extreme, it's the danger of where I'm going or the danger of
Yeah.
the unknown, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I've never been there before. People are crazy. If something happens to me, nobody's going to know what happened to me because I'm not home, all of those
Yeah.
things, right? So
Mhm,
there are some people who are very leery of travel.
mhm,
And there are some people who want to go all the places all the time
mhm.
and live out of a suitcase and in a hotel room and never want to be at home and chill.
Yeah.
And so they see the world is my oyster, like I'm supposed to see every corner of the globe before
Mhm,
I die. And so I first want to ask you, which one of those are you, or are you
mhm.
somewhere in between?
Yeah. So I am definitely in between
Hmm.
because I love to travel, but I don't want to live out of a suitcase.
Mm,
Uh, and
mhm.
so, like this year, I went on so many trips, like back and forth to Florida. I went to Aruba. I went to the Bahamas. I was sad
Mhm.
after my sister's wedding. I was like, you know what? I don't, to the point that I was supposed to go to Spain with my job, but that
Mhm.
trip ended up getting canceled. But I was like, I'm happy it got canceled because I don't feel like being on another flight.
Wow,
I
wow.
I just didn't feel like it, and so it can be too much after a while for me. So
Mhm,
I like to take at least two trips, 2 or 3 trips during the year, but spread it out,
mhm,
so that I can enjoy being at home also because I love being at home. So I'm in the middle. I gotta travel every
mhm,
year,
mhm.
but not all the time.
Gotcha. So 2 or 3 a year kind of
Yeah.
does your heart good.
Mhm. Yep.
So, I am learning about myself that I'm definitely closer on the end, that I want to go all the places.
Okay.
I'm definitely closer there. I'm not
Mhm.
all the way over there because I agree with you. I do want to be able to settle
Mhm.
and I love home.
Yeah.
I am making home more vacation style for myself so that it's
Yes.
somewhere I want to spend
Mhm.
all of my time. But when I am not home, I am loving seeing and experiencing the world. I
Mhm.
really am. And
Yeah.
it is my goal to visit every continent and
Nice.
as many countries in on those continents as possible. And
Mhm.
I really do want that for my son as well. And I've
Nice.
sort of indoctrinated him enough where he wants it for himself now. So I'm
Okay,
really
nice.
excited about that. That it's not
Yeah.
something I'll have to make him to make
Mhm.
him do. So
Mhm.
I'm closer on the other side, and I'll say I may be a little closer to that than
Mhm.
you. One, because you have traveled more than I have overall, I
Okay,
think. Um,
gotcha.
but two, because I really would love to do one trip per quarter. So I
Gotcha.
really do
Okay.
want to experience. And when I say trip, like you went to Florida to visit your family,
Mhm.
and maybe to do some other things, but I know your
Mhm.
family is in Florida. Like my
Yes.
family is 3.5 hours away. I don't even
Right.
I don't count that as a trip. I'm just
Yeah.
going to my family.
Right.
So when I
Down the
say
street.
yeah, when I say for a quarter, I want a quarter for 4 times a year. I'm talking about a trip. So
Uh-huh. Where you got to fly to or take a long train ride or
take a
something.
long something to get there.
Yeah.
And even if not, because I do want to visit every state in the country, right? I do want
Uh-huh.
to visit all states and territories, U.S.
Uh-huh.
territories.
Mhm.
So I do consider some of those trips, but
Mhm.
something you have to plan, and it feels like I'm going away to experience a new place, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
I really do want to do more of that.
Yes.
Okay, so I ask one because as we are as this is being aired, I am
Mhm.
50 years old. I get to say
Yes, you
that.
are.
Oh
Yes.
my
Wrong, girl.
gosh. And so because I am so intentional about all of my days, and as
Mhm.
Dr. Vicki Johnson says, all of my heartbeats. I'm not
Yes.
planning on wasting any of my heartbeats.
Mhm.
Um, I know that travel is a big part of my life. And
Mhm.
so I have been thinking a lot about it because I want more people in my life to experience travel. And
Yeah.
so I've had to think through. It's so funny. Um, at the time of this taping, I'll be able to talk about all of my birthday shenanigans by the
Mhm.
time we do the next couple of episodes. But I'm also going on a cruise with my family.
Yep.
Um, to Bermuda, and the shenanigans that have come out of this cruise. So I mean, goodness gracious. So I gotta have Dramamine. I gotta have this and that.
Oh,
And
Lord.
and they put me in the middle of the ship because I heard at the back of the ship and at the front of the ship, it moves a little bit more than in the middle. I need to be in the middle. I don't want a window because I don't want to be. I mean, all the things, girl. It's so good to me.
Lord
I'm
have
just glad
mercy.
that some of these folks are
Are
going
going
because
right, right,
yes,
right.
so I'm loving it. And then to see my mother, oh my goodness, my mother has been so many places and
She
has so many
has.
more places to go
Yeah.
in her
Mhm.
future. She's just on the road these
Yeah.
days. And so
Mhm.
I'm loving that for her.
Mhm.
Um, so it's got me thinking, right?
Yeah.
Um, I want to ask a question, but I also want to pose the flip side of this. I
Okay.
want to travel, I want others to travel. But in the news, we have heard about several tragedies that happen with people who are going on fun vacations at
Mhm.
resorts, not even leaving the resort, but end up
Yeah.
tragic, things happening,
Yeah.
not, being unalive, not making it back home, all of
Yeah.
those things.
Mhm.
And so I know that some of that is real, it's out
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
So I really want to know from you, what are some of the pros and cons that you have experienced as it relates to travel? If you
Mhm.
had to talk, I feel like we're talking to someone in our audience, either who is on our same page and loves to travel and wants to do more of it, or someone who is contemplating travel or not really on board with travel. And I feel like, we're being good stewards of our experiences by sharing
Yeah.
honestly, because some people will
Mhm.
just tell you how wonderful something is. But
Mhm.
could you share some of your pros and cons about your travels?
Yeah. So I'll start with the cons first.
Okay.
There are some places that are dangerous to go to,
Mhm.
So I think the fear is real and
Mhm.
understandable because things do happen. And there are certain parts where you can get kidnapped and a whole
Mhm.
bunch of stuff can happen. So I understand that.
Mhm.
So it's like the cons can be going to the wrong place, like going to a place where some uprising maybe politically has happened and we're not aware of it, and then we get caught in the middle of it, or you're just a victim of circumstance or whatever. So going to another country can be scary. We've seen people get locked up for really small things
Yep.
because not obeying the laws over there, maybe not even being aware of the laws.
Yep.
over there, and so it can be scary. So
Mm,
that's understandable. So it will require doing research and making sure you're aware of what the requirements are
mhm,
going to another country, or understanding that you are in another country
mhm,
and you are now no longer on U.S. territory if you choose to travel, to another country. So that's another thing. But if you're just going to California, or something like that, and also understandable, like these planes have been doing some things with these companies
girl.
not doing their due diligence with quality control and making sure that the parts on the plane or are a good quality so that people can arrive safely. Thankfully, there hasn't been that many casualties, or they've been able to land the plane safely. But that can be scary,
Mhm,
so that's what I'll say. The cons are things can happen that are
mhm,
outside of your control, especially when you go to another country, and that can scare you into going. I haven't had any bad experiences other than during COVID when I traveled
mhm.
and just fearing getting stuck over there.
Yeah.
Like if I would have tested positive, for COVID, then I would have had to stay there. Thankfully, that didn't happen to
Mhm,
me because I did travel during COVID. But
mhm,
so thankfully, nothing really happened. So thankfully, things have worked well and I've been safe. I haven't traveled alone except for that one time, and when I did do that, I just did my due diligence to try to remain as safe as I could, which I was, thank God.
mhm,
So that's the cons, in my opinion, and so the
mhm,
pros are endless for me. So you get to experience a whole new world. You get to see things that you've never seen before. You get to capture moments. I love taking pictures. People always say, "Well, oh, if you're on your phone and you're not in the moment." I don't subscribe to that thinking
mhm,
because I'm in the moment and
mhm,
I get to take moments with me. Because my
mhm,
memory ain't all that great, but
mhm,
pictures remind me of
mhm.
moments. And so
Yeah.
I need those pictures and capturing those moments. So I think you get to do that. You get to steal away from the hustle and bustle of life and just live a little, let your hair down. You get to play. You get to
Mhm,
relax
mhm,
and just you just come back lighter, you just come
mhm,
back reinvigorated and re-energized
mhm,
when you take some time to get away from your normal life. You get to get outside of your environment.
mhm,
You get to go out with your friends if you travel with your friends.
mhm.
You get to see something you've never seen before. You get to talk about your travel experiences. Like it's just such a huge advocate for traveling
Mhm,
because it unlocks. I remember when I went to South Africa and I was coming back, from that trip, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is life." Like to be able to
mhm,
experience, like you said, going to another continent, being
mhm.
able to experience going to the motherland. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh my god, this is life." And it
yeah.
just really unlocked something within me that made me want to do more of that. So you
Mhm.
never know what travel can do for you. So I
Yeah.
highly recommend it.
Yeah, so good. That was so fair. And I'm just gonna piggyback. I'm gonna pick up on the pros and then I'll
Yeah.
do my cons because everything you just said,
Mhm.
I ditto all of that. But it made me think about the just the awareness that the
Mhm.
world becomes so much smaller the
Yeah.
more I get out into the world
Yeah.
because having gone a few places now, I think about Dubai and how
Mhm.
much I heard about Dubai before I went for my birthday a few years ago.
Yeah.
And once I was there, I was like, this is a lot of New York. Like this is
Yeah.
they have really and really their history is because it's not an old territory.
Mhm.
They've modeled it after Western society, right? So
Mhm.
things were very familiar to me on purpose, intentionally.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I was able to make that connection because I wasn't taking anyone's word for it. Yes, we did the sand dunes and and we put on the garb and we went to a mosque, but we also got to see that the world is smaller. There are a
Yeah.
whole lot more things that we have in common than we
Mhm.
do differences. And so that helps you do that, I think, with travel.
Yep.
Um, and so everything you just said as well. I would say, as it relates to cons, similar to yours, it really does echo for me that I want to do my due diligence to know where I'm going
Yeah.
and what I really like. I can't think of many places that I have gone where there wasn't a whole lot of pre-planning, that I didn't know somebody there already, or there wasn't
Mhm.
a tour guide that was hired to help me navigate the place, or I
Mhm.
didn't go with an organized trip or something like that. I haven't done anything outside of that too much yet.
Mhm.
Um, and so I love and look forward to the whole solo trip type of thing that you've done
Mhm.
already. But that due diligence, I think it really helps feel more
Mm.
comfortable
Yeah.
with what happens. And I think I can't think of many cons. I'm trying to really like work
Mhm.
hard. I guess just the packing and the unpacking and the dealing with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
airports and the
Yeah.
lines, and sometimes there's a whole lot of hurry up and wait,
Yes.
that you have to deal with logistics or the airports, that kind of thing. But I
The
feel like,
delays, that can
yeah,
definitely the
delays.
flight delays, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So some cons. I really want to round this out by, because we've been fair. I think
Mhm.
we
Yep.
know where we stand. Y'all
Yeah.
heard our bias, right?
Right.
We love travel. But if there are any tips for travel, if you were
Mhm.
to encourage someone to travel, what would you say to them?
Yeah.
Anything that you would want to give as far as, if you're looking to do it, don't
Mhm.
hesitate, because or
Mhm.
if you're going to do it, think about this. What would you
Yeah.
have to give, to offer?
So the first thing I would say is, one, if you are the type where you talked about, oh, well, something might happen over there, oh, I don't get on planes because they could crash and all that kind of stuff. I would encourage you to shift your perspective, because that can happen right where you live, you know?
Hey,
You can
hey,
get in a car accident. There's more car accidents than planes crashing.
hey.
We see those every day. And
Talk
so
about it.
just shift your perspective, because some of us live in communities where, even if you don't live in a community, crime can happen wherever you are. And so if that is what you're fearing, I just would encourage you to get outside of that comfort zone and understand that stuff happens no matter where you are, whether you leave your home or not. So, and just envision like where you would want to go if you had to think about something that you've seen on television, maybe a commercial, or something that you've seen on social media or heard your friends talking about. Start with that. Start with
Mhm,
somewhere that you have been like, dang, it'll be nice to go there. It would be nice to see
mhm,
what that looks like in person, or
mhm,
a recommendation from a friend, someone they have somewhere they have gone and just loved it.
mhm,
And because they have been there, done that, they have the blueprint of where you can go, where you shouldn't go. So start with a recommendation and see how you enjoy it. And just, or even if you don't want to fly, to another country or across the country, you can go to 3 hours away. Try that.
mhm,
Try
mhm,
going somewhere that's away but not too far away, to help you get outside of that comfort zone. But just think about somewhere, look it up, Google it, that is close to you, that you would love to visit, that you haven't gone before, just if nothing else to open your eyes to the possibilities of life, because
mhm,
I think travel unlocks your possibilities.
mhm. So good. So good. I totally agree. One of the things that was a pro for me, I know it's not a pro for everybody, because everybody's stomach is not made like mine, but I love trying new foods from
Oh,
different
girl.
cultures.
Yep.
I thought
That's
about
not
you. I
the
was like,
line.
no.
Uh-huh. No, 'cause my stomach not built like that.
Yeah. So that could be a pro or a con.
Right, right.
Um, but I would say, if there is some fear or hesitation there, also letting someone know exactly where you are, where you're going
Yeah.
to be, do all the things, but the tracker thing on your phone where people can find you and,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. Do the things that would allow you to feel more comfortable that, worst case scenario, if anything were to happen, I could be found or I could
Yeah,
press the button, that kind of thing.
absolutely. Mhm.
To make yourself feel comfortable. I love all of Shavon's suggestions by taking some baby steps toward
Mhm.
what that feels like and looks like. I would say the biggest difference for me that it has made is I feel like I'm more literate. And
Mm.
by that, I mean, I feel like I comprehend and understand and I'm sensitive to more, just
Yeah.
more.
Mhm.
Um, Being in a different culture helps me take a step back and get rid
Yeah.
of the ego and the elitism that we
Mm.
have as Americans
Yeah.
to say everybody does not do things the way that we do them.
Yep.
Everybody does not think the way that we think. They don't eat the
Mhm.
way that we eat. They don't dress the way that we dress. And
Mhm.
we are not the center of the world. I know
Yeah.
we think we are, and we may be one of the superpowers, but we are not the center of the world. And in
Mhm.
fact, there are many more people in other countries and other continents than there are
Mhm.
in this country. And
Right.
so it has just broadened my horizons related to um, just the
Mhm.
egoism and the elitism that we
Mhm.
have as Americans.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Mhm.
has humbled me
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
beautiful way. It has
Mhm.
humbled me to travel, and I think we could all use some of that.
Mhm.
So I would encourage you to just try something different, do
Just
something
try
new.
it. And I do want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
So I feel so passionate about traveling, but I've only been really traveling for 7 years, like
Mm.
this, to go
Mhm,
every year. It's
mhm,
only been about 7 years. Before
mhm,
that,
mhm,
I hadn't really gone anywhere.
mhm, mhm,
Maybe a cruise,
mhm,
like, yeah, but for a long time, I didn't take vacations, so I was just
mm.
working
Wow.
and just doing things in my area,
Mhm,
and it just felt so when I did start to travel, I was like, "Oh my god," I was just working myself to death. Like,
mhm.
just trying to be so productive and do all these things, and I hadn't even thought about having fun.
Yep.
That wasn't a need for me at the time as far as having fun outside of my environment, and
Yeah.
I would travel home, but that wasn't the same, and so it just, like I said, unlocked something within me and just helped me to relax. Girl, go on a trip.
Mhm.
You deserve a vacation.
Yes.
You
Yes.
deserve some fun. Sometimes we get so focused on being responsible and doing all the things, and I know finances are a part of it. But you make time and money for what you want to do.
And do.
So I'm just saying
And
it's
do.
possible. They have payment plans. They have all the things. If you really wanted to do it, you can put a trip on layaway and pay on it
Mhm.
until you get to until
Reach
it's paid
out.
off.
Reach
Mhm.
out to us. We got travel agents and everything who
Yep,
are affordable, got wonderful trips. Shoot, I just reach out.
absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
just made me think about one of those memes. And remember, I said I want to visit every state in the country. So
You did.
this is no shade.
Yes.
But it was like, don't Miami and Las Vegas me to death, something
I'm
like that.
telling you, I don't even like Miami. I'm from Florida and I do not want to go to Miami. No, I'm not going. No. You take me to Jamaica, Aruba,
Right. No, thank you.
one of the islands outside of the country. Mm-mm.
Right. Too funny. Too funny. Yes, I love what you just said because the truth of the matter is if you want to do it, you can.
Mhm.
It is
Absolutely.
possible
Mhm.
if you make a decision that I want
Mhm.
to redirect my resources or reallocate my resources so that this year I take a trip somewhere.
Mhm.
It can
Yes.
happen. It can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
So good. Well, sister, I mean, that has fed the travelnista in me.
I
So,
know that's right. Yes.
thank you so much. Oh, and I wanted to say too, because you just made an excellent point. It's not
Mhm.
like, because I just said, I only know this because we do life together, that you have
Yep.
traveled more than I have.
Mhm.
But I too I didn't have my passport until 2019.
Mhm. Yep.
2008. When did we do Jamaica? So 2018, 2019, because it
Yep.
was,
One of them.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know if I needed a pass. Did I need one for Jamaica?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I
Mhm.
did. So I got it in 2018, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
So it was not until then, like right before the pandemic, because I was like, oh, I'm about to stamp this thing up. I'm about
Yeah.
to do it. And I went to Japan. And while I was in Japan, y'all started talking about the pandemic because people were calling me worried
Oh.
about what they thought I was in China and not Japan. And
Yeah.
they were,
Yeah.
you all right? And I was like, what are you talking about?
They
So,
said one of the Asian countries. You over there somewhere?
right. You over there somewhere. So, but since then, I'm like full steam ahead. I'm
Yep.
ready to go to all the places. So it is
Mhm.
possible. It's never too late to start,
Nope.
and start with baby steps.
Yep.
Please let us know if you do some traveling. We want to hear about it. If
Mhm.
especially if you just take your baby toe and put it out there, dip it in the water, and go somewhere. Please
Yes.
tell us. Send us some information
Yes.
about your travel. We would love to hear about it. Okay.
Mhm.
Sister, that was good. Thank you
That was
so
fun.
much.
Yes.
I needed that. So we
Uh-huh.
are going to our third segment. Put myself in her shoes, in his shoes, in their shoes, where we
Mhm.
discuss current events or we pose a trending question or maybe a scenario for discussion. And I do want to get back to some current events soon. But I do have, in lieu of this topic, I do
Mhm.
have a scenario that I wanted to pose. All right.
Okay. All right.
So we may have done something a little similar to this before, but I still want to do it. I think it's appropriate, and I don't think it's exactly like this.
Mhm.
So Rachel is a sister of ours. She is a travelista, just like us. She loves to
Mm.
travel, and she is now seriously dating David. She has been. They are monogamous. They are serious. They are looking toward the future together at this point, and they have talked about traveling, and she's gotten a sense that she likes to travel, probably more than he does.
Mhm.
She has invited him on a couple of trips with her, and he has declined for different reasons each time, work, other things going on, family obligations, and so he's declined her trips. And so finally, maybe third, fourth, fifth trip, he declines her last invitation, and now she's getting worried that she's going to be traveling without her boo because every
Mhm.
time she invites him, he never wants to come. And
Mm.
so Rachel asked David, why isn't he trying to travel with her? And she hears from him in a real way this time that he really does not like traveling much at all. Like that's
Mm.
not his thing, and he really wouldn't do it if he didn't have to, and doesn't feel like he has to at this point right now.
Mm.
He's
Mm.
done
Mm.
it when he has to, but overall he's fine with only local travel. He does not need to get on a plane, take a long train trip, whatever.
Mhm.
She finds out for the first time he doesn't even have a passport and is
Mm.
really
Mm.
not big on getting one at this point. So not sure why this just became a conversation because she really loved him. But
Mm. Mhm.
Rachel really likes him, loves him, but realizes they are on two very different pages regarding travel. Knowing who you are, and just guessing some things about Rachel, what would you do if you were Rachel? And what would you do if you were David?
Oh, Jesus. Listen. Oh, girl. So me as Rachel,
Mhm,
that would be really tough for me because like I've talked about before, I love traveling and I
mhm,
enjoy traveling with my significant other as well as my girlfriend.
yeah,
So not being able to experience that, like I would still go on trips because I'm gonna
yeah.
go because
Mhm,
what I'm gonna do is
mhm,
go,
mhm,
whether he goes or not. But it would be a problem for me.
Mm,
And honestly, putting myself in her shoes, we wouldn't have gotten this far.
mhm,
Knowing that, because that's a value difference, in my opinion. So
yeah,
that would have been tough for me to get that far. But if I am her and I got that far with him, ooh, Lord, he would just be left at home.
right.
And I would send pictures. Maybe that would inspire him. But if not, I am not about the business of letting anyone restrict what it is that I truly enjoy, especially if he knew that before we got
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And up until this point, that's important to me.
Mhm,
So I'm gonna go. I
mhm,
will be respectful, maybe not as many trips as I would if I were single. But
mhm.
that's important for me to have that outlet. So I would try to talk to him, try to convince him, but listen, that's your choice. Um,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go.
yeah, yeah.
And if I
Okay,
were,
now I know this is hard for you, but put
yeah,
yourself in David's shoes. You don't like to travel, and you're in a relationship with somebody now who likes to travel a lot.
yeah. So I am him. Just like to be in my comfort zone. Don't need all of that. It's
Mhm,
not just that passion of mine, like it is for her. I would want her to live her life. Like, I wouldn't want to restrict her.
mhm,
Uh, and I would just respect what she likes to do.
mhm,
I may try every now and then to compromise,
mhm,
depending upon how I'm feeling. I
mhm,
may,
mhm,
because I know that she values that, and if I love her, then I would want to try to compromise every now and then, maybe once a year or something like that.
mhm.
Go, but yeah, I would just let her do her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Girl, this one's hard because
Mhm.
feelings are involved, and for whatever reason, and this happens, right?
It
We
does,
don't have
absolutely.
all the conversations we're supposed to
Yeah,
have
we don't.
before
Mm-mm.
we get deep in our feelings. And
Right.
so, I get you, Rachel.
Mhm.
Putting myself in your shoes. Woo. Um, I am going on trips. I am going. Right.
That's first.
I am going. I am going to try to convince David to go.
Mm,
Um, I will even try to make them more local.
mm,
Not all of them, of course, but I will even cater or customize maybe a trip or two to see if we can come to some middle ground so that we can
yeah.
begin experiencing it
Mhm.
together because I want to visit every state in the country and I want to,
Yeah.
so it's you we would be, fulfilling something in me too to compromise with
Mhm.
this. So I would work toward getting him there. I think it would be a problem, and for me, it would make a difference that we weren't married yet, even
Yeah.
though we are committed and we love each other. I can't see myself connecting in marriage to
Mhm.
someone who you said the word value, and I do. I see it as a core value because that's
Mhm.
going to determine how we do our finances
Yes.
and what we value will
Mhm.
look a little different. So that's going to be problematic for me to see longer term
Yep.
than where we are right now.
Mhm.
So there would be some decisions that have to be made, I think, in the long run.
Yep.
If I were David, I totally get the comforts of my space and knowing I get that. I do
Mhm.
understand that and lived a lot of my life local. So
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
I do understand it. But I too, if I'm David, I honestly would not want a partner that just wants to be away from me and experience a whole bunch of stuff all the time without me.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't want to hinder her, but
Mhm.
I also would feel some kind of way if she's gone. I'm just putting my imposing my desires. If she were gone once a quarter for 2 weeks, like or
Yeah.
you know, and
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, she's gone again.
Right,
she
right.
she's gone again, and
Yeah.
so I would want to make some decisions just so I could find a homebody like me who wants to stay
Yeah.
booed up with me, you know?
Right. Mhm.
I think that would be a fair thing for him to
Mhm.
desire. So I think it
Mhm.
boils down to core values.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. We
That's so interesting.
we
And
praying for y'all, Rachel and
I
David.
know, I know that's right. And I do wanna say, sister, listen, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanna go to every, state in the country too. So just in case you need a travel buddy, I'll go.
Listen, so y'all don't understand. If y'all need some travel tips or something, I know I have not. There are some people who are in these articles and stuff because they really have traveled into all the
Mhm.
countries and all the continents. I am on their heels. I am trying
Yeah,
to catch up with them. But I
yeah.
said that to say I have learned so many things from my sister, and I have things
Mhm.
to share with someone who's a step or two behind me. So
Right.
I have this map that you shared with me,
Yeah.
Shavon,
Yeah.
and this map is so cool because
Yeah.
you get to literally scratch off the places that you've been around the world and
Mhm.
in your own country. And
Yes.
so I'm scratching off the places.
Yes.
So we're going to have to compare notes. So maybe we
Yes.
can go to a few more places that neither of us have been.
Exactly, because 'cause I'm
I
looking
would
at it
love
right now, and it's just so many more states that I haven't been to that I wanna visit, so absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Mhm.
Oh, that made me feel good. This was a good conversation.
I love it. Yes.
So, sister, we are ready for our last segment in this episode, and it is our spiritual nugget where we leave some takeaway that would inspire or encourage, maybe even challenge us in the circle. What would you like to share with us?
It ain't deep. Pack your bags and get out of town. That's that's what I heard. Pack your bags and get out of town. Yeah.
Pack your bags and go. Pack your bags and go. Do a carry on, do a backpack, but do something. Yes. Oh, this
Yes.
is challenge. The
Right,
gauntlet has been thrown.
right.
Who is going to take us
Listen.
up on the challenge? That listen, I
Yes.
felt that in my shanana. That was a spiritual nugget to me. That was good to me.
I'm telling you. Yes.
Pack your bags and go. I love it.
Mhm,
I love it.
mhm.
That is the final word of the day. You hear
It
me?
is. Yep.
It is.
Mhm.
So, y'all, we will continue to share our exploits. We want to hear about yours. We would love to hear where you go. If you are interested, if this has tickled your fancy, if you have laughed as much as we have, if you've been challenged, maybe broadened your horizons, we would absolutely love for you to connect with us on a deeper level. By now, there are some new and wonderful things to see on our website. So please go visit us at realwomenrock.org. You can connect with us for a physical in-person sister circle. You can come to our virtual sister circles because it won't matter where you live in the world to attend those. We have an intensive coming up November 22nd through the 24th. The information is on the website. We would love to meet you in person. We would love for someone to come and say, I heard y'all on the podcast and
Yes.
to come to this intensive. We would
Mhm.
absolutely love to meet you there. So go to the website, find out more information, and then just share this podcast with someone who you know needs to be encouraged, who needs to laugh and kiki a little bit, who needs to do some deep dives. We would love for you to like, follow, and share everywhere you can find us. And sister, thank you for going there with me today. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. You know, this is my jam, as Kia Mason would say. Yes.
Yes, we've had a blast. Thank y'all so much. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.